Hello guys, and welcome back to Strategic Command World War II World at War with our Axis playthrough. In the last episode we did a lot of strategizing, took a little bit, and we've wiped up a good chunk of our fronts. We have some work that still needs to be done. For example, looking over here at the Atlantic, our subs are not in a very good position. This one especially needs to get somewhere that it can repair, so we're gonna have to try to go out of our way to do that. So let's go ahead and move down this way. Try to get out of harm's way, cross the little line here, and then come down this way. Kind of trying to like get a path going where I can get around to one of these points where I can heal. This sub could use both supply and an upgrade. This one just needs to get somewhere where it can go back to work, essentially. So let's go ahead and get that going. Just send you right up there, somewhere where you can raid these supply lines. We don't have anything up north, because we lost Greenland to an event. Down here in a Spanish port, we have the U-47 sub. We're going to upgrade that with Advanced Subs 1. Definitely pass those upgrades around, make us harder to kill, especially to enemies that don't have ASW yet. We'll take the U-30 and just try to send it right down to Arakan. I can't say that, but we're going to send it there. And we got another sub here, the U-73. Upgrade that with Advanced Subs 1 as well. Spend some money. We've already spent 60 MPPs. Oh my fucking god. I'll just send the Axum sub, so it's like, oh! I didn't remember that was there. So we took some damage. Dealt the same amount of damage with this Italian sub. So I guess I'll go over here. You know, that might be why it was there. At this point, I'm recording these episodes like a week apart, so it's really easy to forget little details, like if I knew that was there or not. Based on where it was, I feel like I didn't know, because they wouldn't just keep a destroyer sitting there for no reason. So let's send this Italian one down a little bit away from that. Somewhere where it can still raid. Let's go glance down here. This sub could use an upgrade. A lot of things here could use upgrades. For now, I will send the U-35 just kind of like up the line here, get it close to where it might be able to assist with something. I don't know, can it really assist very much with destroyers? Probably not. I'm going to swap these two out. We want to get some upgrades on this heavy cruiser, anti-air, naval weaponry. These two are still just kind of out on their own, and getting them back would be like nigh impossible. Really, the best option might be to try to get them in the Mediterranean, but yeah, I mean, what's going to stop them? A bunch of destroyers? Their battleships and everything else aren't here. There is a fleet right here, though, and that's going to be something tricky that we have to deal with. While looking at everything Italy has to deal with, of every single place that the Brits could have upgraded their units, they chose Egypt against the Italians. If we go on the offensive here, we're going to be trading pretty equal blows with the Brits, but maybe that's not too bad, considering it's the Italians doing so. So I think I'll go ahead and give that a shot. Let's start with the first army attacking the enemy desert recon. Dealt 1 damage, took none. Okay. That's actually probably better than dealing 2, taking 1. You know, this is where it's going to mess up. We're supposed to deal 2, take none. Let's see how true that is. Deal 2? Yep. Take 1. Had to take that 1 eventually, but we still ended up dealing a fair bit of damage, I would say, to this enemy. Now there's also this right here, and I just want to point this out actually. I looked at this just a moment ago, and it was 2-2. So something about our offensive over here has somehow made this tank more vulnerable. This, by the way, upgraded British tank versus our equal strength, non-upgraded Italian tank. So I have to take odds like that. Dealt 2 damage, took 2 damage. Well, the odds didn't really work in my favor, but you know what? It still did something. Let's go ahead. We're going to reinforce the 5th Army up to full strength. Getting this area up to full strength is incredibly important to me right now. I do need to get this tank somewhere that it can heal. I could send it right here, but either way, the supply is 6, like just all around here, and this is all open and clear. No movement penalties, so I'm just going to send it back here for now. The 3rd Corps here is repaired, enhanced, strengthed up. So I'm just going to move that forward closer to the tank. Not sure if I'm actually going to strike out at it yet, I doubt the tank will come in here. I don't really feel the need to worry about this. If it does, it's dead. 5 strength, it's dead. So again, yeah, I know, I'm not worried about that. So the fleet is somewhere in here. I don't know that we can easily take it. The British fleet does have upgrades that we don't have. I don't necessarily want to deal with that. My Italian planes simply are not able to keep up with a carrier. So that's a problem. Therefore, what I'll probably try to do is just get the medium bombers over here like I originally intended to, so that they can assist the land fight, because that's more important than anything else. This little mini fleet sailing through the Mediterranean isn't as important. Taking Egypt is the main thing, and Italy doesn't have to accomplish this by themselves, but the more damage they can deal there, the better. So, can I just fly this here without getting intercepted? Yeah, okay, I can. Alright, cool, shit. Alright, I'm gonna reinforce these fighters. Down to 58 MPPs, it's not a whole lot. Prioritizing things down here, reinforce this core, that's 5 MPPs. Feel like there was something I wanted to research. No, I remember I had a goal to research infantry weapons 1, that is researching and figured out. I don't want to risk losing the Italian fleet and thus a bunch of morale. I need to choose where to allocate my MPPs, and I think right here is the best place to allocate my MPPs right now. So that's just generally what I'm gonna do. Looking down at Ethiopia, Italy's other front, we have this core that's completely out of supply, just chilling here. Got another core that's upgraded. Well, not in infantry weapons, but in everything else, including mobility. Sneaking up on us with 3 supply. They're getting supply from right here, so they're gonna maintain supply. I will attack. Dealt 1 damage, took none. Very good, very nice. I'm also gonna move the Abyssinia Corps off of Banga, because, well, I can actually reinforce the Graziani HQ up to max. That's the rest of my MPPs, it's fine. Move this forward and attack this South African Corps with a blitz attack. 2 damage dealt. 1 taken, unfortunately. However, we are in a space where we have 6 supply due to this HQ, so we can actually reinforce up to 10 here next turn, which puts us in an advantage, especially because the enemy doesn't have supply here. Don't even know if it can really get away. So I figure we can maybe work away at just getting rid of the strength this one has. If we can kill this one, because they're not approaching Banga at all, I've noticed. If they do approach it, well, they'll have to take a long way around. The logistics here are pretty limited. But I can maybe kill this one. And if I do, that opens up the ability to go gang up on this one maybe, and then maybe actually like somehow overwhelm and eliminate these enemies here, or at least make it harder for them to actually take Ethiopia and liberate it. Due to the fact that I have all of these Turkish units still kind of ready to go, we got 364 MPPs remaining as Germany. I would like to use these MPPs getting the Turks more ready, well, to go. So for 34 MPPs, we can get the Toy Demir HQ here up to full strength. We can then upgrade the first core, everything except mobility. We don't want that. That's too unrealistically expensive. We can reinforce the 4th core for 37 MPPs, bringing that up so every Turkish unit we have here is essentially accounted for. We're gonna need some garrisons over here. The Turkish ones can do that. Plus there's these Bulgarian garrisons as well. Right now we're fine. We don't need more garrisons just yet, but we'll want to guard these partisan points, alright, and we're gonna need that soon. Thankfully there's so many already pre-made. There still is a need for research. I've been looking around for like 30-40 minutes, I'll be honest, just like trying to figure out the best way to spend my MPPs against an AI opponent, so that any mistakes I make won't matter too much in the long run. I think getting better subs would be nice, so that their destroyers have more and more problems attacking me. I think that would be pretty useful, like a race against their ASW values, where if they don't keep up, eventually I could just destroy their destroyers with my submarines without even getting a surface fleet to overwhelm their carrier fleet. So I would like to go ahead and research advanced subs, the next level of it. Nothing else here really screams as being as important to me. That leaves us with 115 MPPs. Not enough for another research unless I'm going for naval warfare, which, to be honest, I wouldn't mind going for naval warfare. However, instead, I think I'll use it to reinforce the Turkish battle cruiser because, well, we're down to 47 MPPs. Even though I don't plan on doing a whole bunch of naval combat here, it still could happen. And the Germans being able to reinforce the Italians in some way, even if it's just a single Turkish battle cruiser, I mean, that would be something. I imagine the British fleet here is just gonna, like, meander its way to the west and then link up with its buddies. In which case, like, you know, these guys might need to run for their lives. But in case it decides to, I don't know, go into the Adriatic Sea or something, that could make it pretty fucking vulnerable. I'd say so. Not something where I could just get into place and then immediately attack, unfortunately. Man, you know, I have to say that's really the thing about this game, is just that there's so many things that you can do. It's just, you have to pick, out of all the things you can afford to do, what will you do? Will I go for Malta, or that's going to take units that I could use somewhere else? Will I attack the Soviet Union here or then? That's going to take units that I could put somewhere else, etc., etc. But I'm out of MPPs, basically. I think that is all I'll do for now. I kind of just put off the idea of buying the motor torpedo boats. I still think it would be useful, but so long as we have one destroyer sitting around, these medium bombers have something that they can do. And I don't know how well they're going to stay at being able to, like, I don't know, send an entire surface fleet just to wipe out one destroyer, but guess we'll figure it out. Because I'm going to hit end turn now. We're going to see what the Allies choose to do with their limited resources. Hopefully nothing that costs me. Yeah, they're still disrupting the convoys, but I dealt good damage to them up there last episode. Hitler's deputy Rudolf Hess flies to the UK to negotiate peace terms. What? Okay. Tech, advanced fighters, Japan, hell yeah. Logistics, okay. 683 at the end, that's awesome. Wow, our MPs are going way up. Probably from taking stuff in the Caucasus and whatnot. Remember, that added up to be a whole lot. The USSR transfers industry from Ukraine to the Urals. Oof. Understandable, though. Industry in Ukraine is disrupted by the transfer to the Urals. Yeah. Understandable, though. I expect no less. Got that engineer moving away. Moving a light tank forward. Interesting choice. And a core forward. Oh, that was an operation. They just operated that unit off of the front. Why would you do that? Are you trying to make a new defensive line? Reinforcements on the Finnish front? Lots of reinforcements, which means no attacking. Even on the Chinese front. Upgrades. Ooh. Soviets may be getting some units ready to operate from Japan's border. I think it would be interesting if they just moved everything off, because if they did, wouldn't be too hard to free up some Japanese units to just push across that border. Take the strategically valuable... Oh my god. Wow. Oh my god, they keep trying to bombard this destroyer in port. And failing. They actually took some damage. They're flying bombers, which take damage from my interceptors. My interceptors take damage. They take damage from bombing. Probably succeeded in some disruption. But nothing too bad that to worry about. Otherwise, reinforcements on the front. Running some units away. Oh, they've just completely cut off that town. But I think they're getting further away from their supply points, so that doesn't seem very smart. Destroyer running into the Italian subs, taking damage. Mine didn't take damage, at least not yet. Ooh, we took damage. Okay, 1 for 1. Ooh, oh god, we took 2 more, dealt 1 more, okay. Little uneven, but they can't... Oh, a carrier. Oh my god, they have a carrier out here. They have a carrier out here. If I can catch that with a submarine. Oh, what hex is this? Oh, what hex is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like 9 hexes west of Brest if it stays there. It's just in so many attacks, no way it can get away that far. And it's wasting all these attacks on some measly Italian sub, which honestly, kind of wish I kept that in the Mediterranean at this point. It could hurt that big British surface fleet probably a whole lot. And, well, maybe we're going to get a chance to hurt this carrier. Imagine we can sink a carrier with subs. Woo! UK lost 27, 2, and 17. Okay. Okay. Garrison in Belfast. Who would have thought? Army in New York. They're not even in the war. War in DC. Ah, well. Alright. Okay, so if my calculations are correct, the carrier is somewhere around here. I have a half-dead sub with, like, no readiness and morale. 2 subs that are resupplied, but not fully alive. A shitty Italian sub. A near-dead Italian sub. 2 German subs, one of which are upgraded, and actually in pretty decent shape otherwise. And then, like, this one over here, which may be out of range. Well, the first most important thing is to find it. And to find it, we have to run basically right up to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So somewhere around here. So, let's try and find it. Okay, well, I found it. Oh my good fucking god, it is so upgraded. The illustrious carrier. It's got the ass. Oh, the ass. Yeah, I remember the ass from the Allied playthrough. Forget what I actually ended up calling that. The ass destroyer? Yeah, that's what I called it. I remember this one. Well, of course it has an escort. I'm surprised that escort is so weak, however. Even with the Italian sub, we have a 1-to-1 ratio of odds here. There's a great, very high chance that we can sink this, assuming there's not more surrounding it. Step number 1 is done. We found the carrier. Now to get more firepower to it, even if it's not the best firepower, we know this path here is clear. So let's try to kind of replicate that path a little bit here, shall we? Yep. And then like so. Then bring it around here. They have 2 carriers here? And now this sub had its attack, I guess. Well, maybe not. Maybe just because it ran into this and discovered it. So it doesn't get an attack anymore. They have 2 carriers. They're moving an entire carrier fleet over here. What is this? How many more ships are over here? I might need to use these other ones for scouting purposes, quite frankly. Because this is fucking insane. Let's go ahead and just try to go down behind them. Okay, there's nothing behind them. They're all alone. Move up behind them. I don't know if there's anything right here yet still. I think I'll risk this one to try to figure out if there's anything else. No. So they sent 2 carriers with a 6 strength destroyer to guard it, and that's it. Shame that this one ran out of movement points. This would have been handy to have. Oh my god, look at these odds. Oh, this is so good. So we got to get more subs up here. At this point, I feel like attacking is just a given. I'll start with the Leonardo da Vinci because the Italian subs matter less. I'm sorry, guys, but Italian lives don't... You know, that sounds weird, actually. Anyway, let's go ahead and attack. We dealt 3 damage and only took 2 damage. That is better odds than promised. Illustrious, you're gonna die. I'm excited. Let's attack with the U-37, shall we? 4 damage dealt and 1 taken. What are these odds, bro? These are great. These are so great. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I need like a really good attack to make sure that this sinks. It's gotta be this one. It's gotta be this one. Let's move up and try to get over here to guarantee that we sink it. There you go. 840 national morale bonus. Wow, against the UK. That's a sizable chunk. And they're now down a fucking fleet carrier. Meanwhile, there's subs I need to get to safety, like this one here. Try to maneuver it over to like Vigo or something where it can survive and thrive. This one needs to get out as well. If we can get it over here-ish. Ooh, it still won't be able to get all the way to where it's going, but it can get most of the way there towards Brest. Oh my god! Or it can run into the Annapolis Destroyer. Okay, so they got another one coming up. Well, that is a juicy target for the Brits, I must say, but they can't make up what they've lost. Doesn't matter. They just lost a fucking carrier that's upgraded with 1, 2, and 2. How expensive is that? Naval weaponry, I can only simulate so much, but this is already 368 with my bonus. It's 386 base. They probably had over 400 MPPs worth that they just lost right there, so I'm pretty content with that. Let's move this sub in closer and just trade the equal blows on their carrier. We lost 2, took 3. Wow. We're not trading equal blows at all. We're just absolutely dominating. I'll move this sub a little more towards this one, try to serve as a little bit of a distraction or support. I'm going to upgrade this advanced sub pretty much right out of the gate here. I am terrified of the idea of moving these cruisers in closer. Could they do damage? Yes. Will they probably die? Yes. We know that that carrier was somewhere around here, so it's safe to say the fleet is still within this area. Still, it's not safe to have these cruisers just sitting around somewhere so close to all of this. Now, if they could make it to here, they'd kind of be safe, I guess. You want to talk about a Battle of the Atlantic? God fucking damn, this is a Battle of the Atlantic. Let's go look at Italy's fronts again. All right, so you got a little bit injured. 7 versus 7. This one's not moving, though. I don't know if I want to attack or just reinforce first. Also, how's this go? Supply down to 3. Now that it's cut off. This one's down to 2. It's not reinforcing, though. I think I'll go ahead and attack it anyway. That didn't work out for much. They actually got XP from that. That's unfortunate. I'll go ahead and reinforce up to full here, because we can, and that's pretty important. 101 Italian MPPs. Yeah, the surrounding here is not that great, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it either. Just kind of got to eat that for now. Up here, we can get some damage. I could reinforce, but we can get some damage, you know, in the Desert Recon, and I think I will. 2 damage dealt, XP acquired, no damage taken. Okay, that's pretty nice. I want to get these tanks back up to snuff, so we're going to reinforce that fully. That's 62 MPPs already, just like that. We have 1-to-1 odds against this guy right here. I don't know how far they moved back what they had over here. I don't know if they went behind this town or to it. Given that this is Italy we're dealing with and we're facing off tanks, I'll take 1-to-1 odds with a core, sure. Oh, and none of us took any damage or anything. Oh. Okay. Well, I have an upgrade I could put on this army. Infantry weapons level 1. We're going to do that. 14 MPPs to the left. It's not enough to really do a lot with. We can get our fighters fully up to strength, and I think I might. Or I could just try to bomb something and hurt it. Oh god, but the odds there aren't too great either. I think let's reinforce the fighters because they're actually actively defending everything in this zone. We're really pushing Italian MPPs to the limit, just assigning them these African fronts. And that's pretty much it, because we haven't paid for any of these repairs yet on these subs. I want to take a look at the tertiary fronts of the Soviet front. So let's take a look at the Caucasus first here, as we're approaching some very valuable oil, some of which we've already taken. I think the most obvious thing to do first, because we have no air support or anything here, it's very simple, is to take these cores, and this one's not attached, and just attack as is. This one has less supply. Oh, look at all this oil. Let's attack. Oh, only 1 damage, sad face. Now this one. Only 1 damage over and over again. That just seems unfair. I do have other units that can be moved into range and kind of prioritize fighting here, because I believe when Baku falls, that's what stops Iran from being invaded. And so that would actually be pretty neat. It's not like if they joined, I would have trouble taking this with how many troops I have over here. However, it connects right to India. And if they've left their Indian units over here, I just don't want to go for that until, like, I'm ready to go for that, ideally. Because it's also just not relevant to my strategy. Yeah, let's move these cords out of the way, why don't we? Up the road, down the road. There's no zone of control here to worry about. Flank Grozny, that actually gives me a combat bonus, I believe. I'm getting that right. Let's take the Bitaliska Corps and send it down here to Baku South. An attack with a blitz attack. 1 damage dealt. None taken. Wow, dude. Just wow. Alright, let's send the Drovska Corps next. Finally, something hit what it said it was gonna hit. Fucking Christ. Bitaliska Corps, go claim our prize. Baku. That's a national morale objective. And it's ours now. As for here, the supply here is not so great. 5-4? Yeah, no, probably because we just took Tbilisi. Supply's going up in the region still, but that doesn't mean we can't attack now, which we can. So let's take this army and do a prepared attack. 4 damage. We were supposed to deal 3. We took 1. That's pretty nice. This core's odds haven't really increased, unfortunately. But 1-to-1 odds against the Soviet core when our goal is to overwhelm them and our MPP situation is generally pretty good. Yeah, I could do that. I mean, they have 9 supply, man. This isn't going to get much better before it gets worse. And then, like, more Soviets show up. So, Soviets. We're going to attack. 1 damage dealt. None taken. Okay, that actually worked out perfectly. So we've taken Baku. We're getting Grozny surrounded. It's a pretty linear pass that we have to pass through and the enemies have to pass through to get to us. That's pretty good. Again, we're going to have to keep an eye out for garrisons here, though. It's going to be quite interesting as we move forward. But Maikop, that's a very easy place to decide to go. We'll be able to get a southern push, pushing up to Stalingrad without having to worry about this river, in fact, and maybe around it in general, towards Astrakhan over there. Yeah, and then focus on these more eastern objectives near Moscow as opposed to just one rush. So I've gone ahead and moved the Mannerheim HQ back to Helsinki because we actually just have more supply. Well, as you can see on the front, the same exact amount of supply, but more supply everywhere else if I just leave this HQ here as opposed to actually moving it all the way up here. Given the Soviet commitment of units over here, we might have to play a more defensive role with Finland because there's not really big opportunities to push up. We might just have to like stack units on top of each other and just call that our plan. It's about what Finland did in real life. I'll take the Helsinki Corps. We're gonna move that down the road. I will attack with the Isthmus Army because, well, we can deal more damage than we'll take, so why not? 3 damage dealt, none taken. That seems very good to me. I'll also attack with the Second Corps. 2 damage dealt, none taken. Seems very good to me. I'm not going to stay here, though, where there's only 3 supply, because our opponents have tons of supply. We'll probably not even realistically be able to hold here. This is a town with 5 supply. It's not going to be very easy to hold. So I'm going to back off this road. This is really probably the best place to hold here. I don't want to give up this town for right now if I can help it, though. The enemies have too much supply for us to really deal with in any offensive manner. We gotta get that somewhere where there's gonna be more supply for it. Maybe like right here on this lake. That works for me. They'll be able to reinforce there more next turn. At the very least, Finland's presence on this front will mean constant trickles of damage against the Soviets, and somewhere else where they have to put their very limited units while they're getting overwhelmed, pretty much, on this main front. I think that's a good amount of time for this episode. We got a lot of stuff done. Next time we could tackle the main front with the Soviet Union, and the Japanese dealing with the Chinese. I think that's pretty good, and figure out how to spend all these points, ideally. We're here in June, around the actual start of Operation Barbarossa, and I think our progress is pretty good. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. For now, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.